All right, Algebra 2, I'm going to make this video quick. We're just doing more of simplifying rational expressions. So the main lecture for this would be on Friday because it's the same thing over and over again, but I'm just going to go ahead and do the work. That way you can have examples for it. I'm also not going to be lecturing very much today. This is going to be a straight up work assignment day. So with that said, here we go. I'm going to start by this. Remember, we're simplifying. So that means you're going to break down the numerator or the denominator or both and try to take out what you can. So I see on number 1, I'm going to pull out a 5x on top. So I have a 5x on top, which leaves me with a 3x plus a 1 on the numerator. Then you can check your work by distributing. 5x times 3x is 15x squared. 5x times 1 is 5x. Again, this is GCF. I'm identifying y'all who are struggling with GCF still. Oops. 10x. So that's the first step on that one. This says 5x times this group. This says 10x down here. So 5 times x, 10 times x. This x can simplify out, which is nice. And then the 5 and the 10 can reduce down to 1 over 2. And then I don't want to write 1 times 3x plus 1 because that's silly. So I can just write 3x plus 1 over 2. And that's my answer. So all I did was pull out a GCF on top and then simplify my rules. And again, I'm not going to reteach what I already taught on Friday. So this is relatively simple if you know how to simplify these polynomials. So number 2, you have to do the whole factoring thing, the ABC, AC. I can factor this in my head. So I'm going to go ahead and start. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this one. I'm going to write minus x plus 3 on top. I think that's easier for my brain to work on. And then this one breaks down, the bottom one breaks down into x. There's a little trick. When there's only a 1 in front for the A position, once you find your numbers, yeah, it only works if the A is equal to 1. But once you find your numbers, let's see, in this case, my C is negative 15, my B is 2, my A is 1, my AC is negative 15. So we're looking for 5 and 3, positive 5 and negative 3. So when you find these numbers, when the A is equal to 1, 5 and negative 3, you can just skip it. So hold on. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Positive 5 minus 3 is positive 2. So now you see these numbers plus 5. I can go ahead and drop the plus 5 in there. And then you see that minus 3. I can go ahead and just drop it in there. Again, it only works if there's a 1 right here. If there's a 2, you have to do the whole full process with breaking it apart and whatnot. So I see right here, I'm going to have to rewrite my top part. Get used to this skill where we pull out a negative 1 on the very top. Can you see how I did that? I put out the negative 1, which changed this x to positive, changed this 3 into a negative, and then I have this on the bottom. Again, I want y'all to have all class period to basically do these. I don't want to be doing a lot of stuff. X minus 3, bam, x minus 3, bam, that cancels out, and you're left with negative 1 over x plus 5. So that's the answer to that one. Ignore that dot. That's it. X plus 5 for that one. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next examples. Number 2, you're going to see this. Sorry, not number 2, number 3. This requires ABC. I'm not going to do the whole ABC at this point. Y'all need to like jog your memory and figure out how to do this yourself. The top part comes out to x plus 3, x minus 2. That's what the top one comes out to be. And then the bottom one comes out to be x plus 8, and then x plus 3. And again, I'm doing these in my head because I'm a math teacher and I've been doing this forever. If you want to know how I did it, do the ABCs, do that kind of stuff. You can see the x plus 3 cancels out. And I am left with x minus 2 over x plus 8. And that's your answer for those notes. So now I'm going to talk about number 4. Number 4 is pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and factor it. It has x and x. This is going to be positive 7 and minus 6 for the top. And then for the bottom, what am I going to have? I'm going to have an x, yada, yada. What am I going to have? I'm going to have a 6 and a 4. Which one's going to be positive? I think the 4 is going to be positive and the 6 is going to be negative. So I broke those down. Again, I can do these in my head. Some of y'all can too. If you can't, you need to make sure you do the ABCs. At this point with factoring, there are some of these you should be able to look at and be like, oh, I can break this apart. Again, when there's a 1 in front on the x's, all you have to do is find the numbers. And once you find those numbers, you don't even have to pull it apart. You can just drop it down there and call it a done deal. So I'm going to look at this. This cancels out. This cancels out. And I'm left with x plus 7 over x plus 4, which is nice. Now I'm going to go down to this one. This one requires more of the grouping. This one requires the ABC AC thing. So if we do the ABC AC on both tops, actually I'm going to solve this one on a different video.